Now, as we get started, let me give you an overview of the course because XML is a huge topic. And so what I've tried to do is distill this down, and what I want to give you is, as an introduction to XML, the bare bones basics of XML. What I want you to get from the course, these are my objectives, is for you to understand, first of all, what XML is, how it works, and what it does. And if you can answer these three questions about XML at the end of this video series, you will then be ready to go out and implement XML, because implementation becomes the rub on XML. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to try my best to give you a generic introduction, because I want to avoid the debates that have been raging out there for years. And this gets pretty strong. As a matter of fact, in the book that's put out by O'Reilly, and O'Reilly has some fantastic books, don't get me wrong, but O'Reilly even goes as far as to say, and you'll seldom see this kind of stuff in a book, but on page 147 of the third edition of XML in a Nutshell, when they're talking about style sheet processors, and I'm just going to read the line, it's kind of interesting, I think it's actually kind of funny. They're talking about Microsoft's Namespace Declarations, and they're talking about a declaration that Microsoft came out with for a namespace when they were ahead of the recommendations, and it's kind of hung on. And their statement is, good XSLT developers don't use, and they refer to that old namespace, and they don't associate with developers who do. So there's a lot of debates out there about how to do XML, why it should be done, and exactly, and so forth. I want to avoid those debates. Those will come very clear to you, and I want to stay out of the Java, Microsoft, IBM wars, and so forth. Now, understand as you go through here, I'm going to use a Microsoft Internet Explorer browser quite a bit, and I will tend to talk about XML more so from a Microsoft standpoint for two reasons. First of all, honestly, I'm a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, I'm a Microsoft Programmer, I'm a Microsoft Database Administrator. I tend to live in that world. But the next best reason for this is, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody else's XML tools or anything, for most people watching this, they're going to be watching on Windows-based machines, and they already have Internet Explorer, and it's much easier to follow along. What you need to take from this is not a debate about the various XML technology platforms out there, but XML itself, and that's certainly what I'm trying to give you. Please hear me on this. Java has some incredible tools. I'm not knocking them. We'll talk about SACs and some other things in here. What I want you to get is an understanding of what XML is, how it works, what it accomplishes. I'm going to give you some very simple examples. I love to learn stuff and I love to teach stuff using very simple examples. If you can grasp how the technology is thinking, you can then mold it to what you need it to do. Then I'm going to direct you to some resources all throughout the videos to tell you where you can go and get some more information to dig a little deeper in the various aspects. The million-dollar question with everybody is, how do I use this? And so the question for me is, how will you, as a student in this course, utilize XML? Well, it depends on a number of questions. Number one, where you are right now. What are you doing? What data needs do you have, and how does XML fit into that? What do you need? Do you need to just bind data to web pages? Do you need to send data across the world and have it retain its meaning? Are you trying to populate databases? And then where are you going? What are the long-range plans for how this data is going to be used? And also we get into network utilization and some other issues. So what you do with XML and how you use XML depends on where you are, what you need, and where you're going. It also will change from time to time based on the platform that you're using. If you're in a Java shop, you're going to do XML a little bit differently with the tools and parsers and so forth, but you're still going to be using standard XML data. Same thing for Microsoft, same thing for IBM, same thing for anybody else. So that's the overview of the course. I just want to give you a good, thorough, rounding understanding of XML, what it does, how you can use it, how to manipulate it, how it's thinking. I'll leave exactly how to implement it and what tools to use up to you.